What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off with local news, a retired major general and an ex-lawmaker face charges of helping China recruit Taiwanese spies. Prosecutors in the southern city of Kaohsiung indicted the suspects on Thursday, nearly 2 months after the pair were first detained. Retired Major General Xia Fushang and former legislator Luo Ziming are accused of violating Taiwan's National Security Act. The prosecution says that from 2013, Luo and Xia arranged free sightseeing trips to China for retired high-ranking Taiwanese officers. There, they attended banquets where Chinese agents tried to recruit them. At least 48 former officers, including generals, apparently signed up for these free tours. The Veteran Affairs Council is investigating whether any of these officers broke the law. It's the latest in a string of cases where active and former members of Taiwan's military have been accused of spying for China. In January, Taiwan detained a former Air Force officer and 3 active duty officers. Taiwan didn't have enough qualified students for the latest application cycle for vocational universities. This is a big concern for an economy that relies heavily on trade skills. Joyce Zheng reports.
This is vocational high school student Yu Caixuan. She specializes in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. At last year's National Skills Contest, she came in 3rd place and won a spot at her top choice school, Taipei Tech. But she said the grueling competition made her doubt her abilities.
比全国赛的话是比12个小时，然后就是会觉得很累，然后又觉得他们做的东西都比我还好，然后成果也不是我想象的那么的好，所以就觉得说我可能不太适合这里。
Trade schools have traditionally been a less popular choice among students and parents around the world. In the U.S., prestige is a big factor driving young Americans away from apprenticeship programs and can result in some relying on student loans to get a more coveted and expensive degree. Government census data show that about 1 in 5 American adults are carrying student debt. Some studies show that North American high schoolers avoid a career in the trades because they think it requires too much physical work. But in Taiwan, vocational schools seem to have run into another problem. In this year's college admissions cycle, there were 490 spots open at 20 technical schools countrywide, but 260 spaces were left unfilled as many applicants were underqualified. This is part of a falling enrollment trend, and according to a dean at Taipei Tech, even those who do make it in aren't giving it their all.
I can tell their academic performance is not that good, and also the attitude is also not that good. And they are not like the previous student, that hardworking student. So right now we need to spend more time to motivate them to study hard.
According to Zhuang, the drop in qualified and motivated students completing vocational degrees is a problem for the entire country. Taiwan's economy is heavily reliant on technical industries like semiconductors and electronics that need skilled workers. The country's critically low birth rate also means there will only be fewer students in the future, not more. In previous years, the government had pushed reforms to encourage more students to consider vocational schools. But Taiwan will have to be more creative to ensure young people graduate with the skills the country needs. Patrick Chen and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Making trade between Taiwan and the U.S. easier, faster, and cheaper. That's one of the goals of the U.S.-Taiwan Initiative on 21st Century Trade. The U.S. Trade Representative has released a summary of the first round of talks under that program. Those proposals cover 5 of the 12 areas involved in the initiative. Those include trade facilitation, regulatory practices, trade in services, and anti-corruption. A 5th section would help Taiwan's small and medium-sized enterprises enter the U.S. Taiwan's Trade Authority also issued a statement on those talks, saying good progress is being made. In sports, the 2023 Tour de Taiwan wrapped up on Thursday. Leslie Liao has a recap of the multi-day international cycling event.
The 2023 Tour de Taiwan took place over 5 days and almost 700 kilometers. The annual event drew close to 200 international cyclists to bike around Taiwan. This year's event was divided into 5 stages. The first stage took place in Taipei City in the north, Participants did 8 laps around a 10-kilometer stretch of the city. The second stage was a 120-kilometer course in Taoyuan City. The third stage of this year's tour cut through multiple counties and cities in the country's center. The fourth and longest stage took place in landlocked Nantou County. That course was nearly 170 kilometers long. The fifth and final stage was a roughly 150-kilometer ride around Kaohsiung City. 5 different competitors won each of the stages, but Dutch cyclist Jeroen Meijers logged the fastest total time. That made him the overall winner of the 2023 Tour de Taiwan, claiming the coveted yellow jersey. Taiwan is known for its biking paths that cut through the country's diverse scenery. But these cyclists probably didn't spend much time sightseeing as they furiously pedaled away toward the finish line. Leon Lien and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Meanwhile, the 2023 Asian Games are set to take place in China this fall. The multi-sport event will feature everything from basketball to weightlifting to combat sports. Joyce Sun takes a look at how Taiwan's martial artists are getting ready.
The competition is back on. After a hiatus during the pandemic, the Asian Games are set to take place in China's Hangzhou in September, and Taiwanese athletes are stepping up their training. These are martial artists from Taiwan's national team. They've been preparing for the Games for the past 2 years. 29-year-old Lai Bo-wei narrowly missed making it to the winner's podium back in 2018. He came in 4th place, only 0.01 points behind the bronze medalist. 5 years later, Lai is now reflecting on his strategy to take gold.
技术方面来说，就是比较年轻，然后比较就是体力，然后冲劲这样有。然后只是可能就是因为武术比赛嘛，可能还是要看一些拳位啊，就是比较浓厚的那种，就是展示武术内涵的动作。
The martial arts team will also feature several fresh faces at this year's meet. 10 have been selected to represent Taiwan, including 20-year-old Peng Yuxi. Originally a gymnast, Peng switched to martial arts after her school put together a team.
因为就是我的经验，就是跟学长他们比起来算是比较少的，然后其实也会有点害怕自己没办法做好，但是因为老师他们都有跟我说，就是年轻就是要拼。
Martial arts are usually dominated by athletes from China at the Asian Games, but the Taiwanese national team's coach is hopeful that this year's team will have a shot at bringing home a medal or two. Eason Pan and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
In regional news, the leaders of Japan and South Korea say they are putting aside history to work more closely together on regional security challenges. The announcement was made by Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio, who says the two countries' presidents will resume regular state visits.
日韓関係の新たな章を開く、そのために今回、ユン大統領との首脳会談において、両国の首脳が形式にとらわれず、頻繁に訪問するシャトル外交を再開させることで一致をいたしました。
Kishida's comments came during South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's visit to Japan, the first trip of its kind in 12 years. The two leaders discussed the shared threat of frequent missile launches by North Korea. They also spoke of growing concern over China's increasing military activity in the region. Yoon is scheduled to return to South Korea on Friday. Ukraine's foreign minister has spoken to his Chinese counterpart over the phone in a rare public exchange between the two sides. The two reportedly discussed the importance of territorial integrity, as well as the peace formula proposed by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. China's foreign ministry says they spoke about the need to create the conditions for peace talks. China has tried to portray itself as a neutral party since Russia invaded Ukraine last year. But it has frequently repeated Russian talking points, including blaming the US and NATO for the war. Chinese leader Xi Jinping is expected to visit Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow in the coming weeks. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, enjoy these shots of koalas exploring their new home in the Taipei Zoo. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.